in the Truckee outbreak, there was a group of teachers who may have not known anything about mold or mold avoidance or the science behind this, but were fairly adamant that their break room at the Truckee high school was making them very sick, and some of them tried to get away from it and had better outcomes supposedly, and some of them didn't and remained very sick for years and years. But anyway, they specifically asked the CDC to look into it. They didn't know if it was mold or what. I think some of them suspected chemicals. They knew that that room was making them sick. And there's actually an paper describing this sick building syndrome in Truckee and how it coincided with chronic fatigue syndrome. But also, I want to point out that if you just think about it, the pattern of the outbreaks, it makes a lot more sense for there to be an environmental agent involved as well as a virus, because the outbreaks were very geographically localized, and they did not spread very much outside of the given regions that they were in, especially the ones in the 80s and earlier. For example, like this nasty flu went around Tahoe, but it didn't make a lot of people sick outside of Tahoe. I'm sure plenty of people were traveling in and out of Tahoe, so it was geographically localized. And then on a more micro level, smaller level, one patient, Eric Johnson, who had been sensitive to mold before getting the Tahoe flu, noticed that most of the buildings and areas that the outbreak spread through were sick buildings. Some of them even had documented mold problems in the response of like complaints or lawsuits or remediation that's on the record. Some of them he just knew to be bad via his senses, and one of them was his own house, which I will talk about later. He got actually a sample of mold involved. So it's more than hearsay, but it's also tricky in terms of scientific evidence, because despite many patients asking CDC and also the doctors involved, Cheney and Peterson, to look into the environment and to some extent mold, there was virtually no research into this. So now we can say it's sort of been lost to time in terms of some of those buildings may have been remediated. We can't go back and take samples. We can't do mass spectrometry on the air in these outdoor regions that have been making people sick, because no one looked into it at the time. So now, maybe it's too late. Another interesting observation that is not quite so subtle is Eric Johnson described there was a large algal bloom or cyanobacteria outbreak. I think of the specific species Microcystis on Lake Tahoe in 1985 when the outbreak happened. Now, microcystin is known to be immunosuppressive, like mycotoxins. Eric thought that there was a perfect storm of factors. There was the microcystin, there was this nasty viral flu that went around, and there were a lot of sick buildings. and he thought that something made the sick buildings worse around that time.